The movie Quasi. And I'll tell you, I tried to make a John move, and I didn't really try to discover anything about this before I went into it. It's by the Broken Lizards comedy troupe, the same guys that brought Super Troopers. It's available on Hulu.
Hulu.
And outside of the fact that there wasn't like a boob, I think all the other Broken Lizard movies, there's at least a boob. If not entire sequences about the boobs that are happening. There wasn't like, it didn't hit a high adult level. There was way too many adult jokes in it. But I think that was maybe like a Hulu, like, yeah, we're not giving you the, M17 rating or anything like that.
Oh, okay. Rein them in a bit.
Yes. But still very fun to watch. And given the fact that it wasn't like a real plot that they were giving you. They weren't doing like, you got to buy into this whole like, oh, you guys are all kind of crummy cops, you're super troopers. Okay, there's a plot that you have to buy in most of their movies. They didn't need you to figure that out at all. It's the Quasimodo story, in case you didn't. I did not understand that from the title. And then I'm like, oh, it's a time period piece. Cool. And then I didn't watch any of the trailers because that would have immediately given away one of the characters is hunched over with a big lump on his back and a messed up face.
A hunchback. Okay.
Oh, Quasimodo. Apparently, the Super Troopers comedy troupe, every time they've had a success, every studio's asked them, so what else do you want to do? And they've brought out Quasi, which they wrote in college.
Are you serious?
I watched an interview. They're like, yeah, no, we've been trying to make this for like 25 years. We're so excited that we finally got to make it.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Which now
this is their dream project.
Now that I understand, it's a period piece set in like, ancient times in castles with knights and sword fights. And there's way too much money that you would have to throw for these this comedy troupe guys. You don't trust them. So they hit like a TV quality level of a movie. It didn't, they had some exteriors that were castles. I don't think that's what they were shooting.
Oh my gosh.
It was not Game of Thrones level HBO. And sadly, it wasn't probably even as good as, and I'm sorry to say this to you guys, it wasn't as high a caliber as Monty Python's Epic's Life of Brian, because they were actually filming at castles in England.
Right.
And there was nowhere else to go. That's what they did. So these guys clearly had a nice set that they could, work with, and it worked fine, given that you immediately threw out needing to buy into anything. You're like, oh, it's a full-on comedy. It's a Quasimodo story. Okay, so what are we doing with this? That's a good cameo. That's a good cameo. That's a good cameo. Oh, right, I forgot. She's in this. All right, so just a couple names I'm going to throw out there. The comedy troupe is made up of Kevin Heffernan, Jay Chandrasekhar, Steve Lemme, Erik Stolhanske, and Paul Soter. So that's the main guys that make up the Broken Lizards group. They're all in Super Troopers, and one of the main things that like kind of put Super Troopers on the map for everybody is they got Brian Cox in it. If you remember Brian Cox, he used to be in Succession. Burn. Sorry, bro. He did have a voiceover cameo in this, which was very nice for the fans of those, movies and stuff like that, to get him back.
My husband loves Kevin Heffernan, and he directed this film as well.
Yeah.
He loves him from Super Trooper, but I'm going to tell him about this. It's not even on his radar, and I think my son and him would love to watch it. It seems right up their alley.
Yes. It is very much sophomore-ish humor. And I was trying to figure out, like, why do I feel like I recognize more people in this movie? Oh, that's why. I'm so dumb. They all played multiple characters, so I kept having to like reset my brain for which of the five of them were. Like, there was the one where he was playing the king, then he was the bartender, then he was the guy in the crowd. Okay, right. Then this time that actor is so it was a little bit complicated to follow all of that. But then also you got even more of all of the characters and actors that you loved.
That's a great way to save money too, just to play multiple parts. Yeah.
I mean, the credits 6 times. I got paid 6 times. Overall, the story isn't important. There was a lot of sight gags and humor, and the best friend story arc. It's fine. Don't worry about that. That's not important. That'll get you through a movie, but the jokes, that's what's important with these guys. And the all-important, one of my favorite features of a good comedy movie, the during credits blooper reel.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Which, that's a classic from the 70s and 80s. I miss that. I do enjoy a good blooper reel during the credits. So there's a couple good guffaws in the credits.